New at 6, she was seriously hurt getting her hair done at a Detroit business, and tonight, the city is shutting the place down. We've learned a hairstylist was running a salon out of a clothing store on Detroit's west side.
And she placed a hairspray can too close to a heater. It exploded, sending a 14-year-old girl to the hospital.
This is definitely a no-no that they do teach us in hair school.
Sean Lay, following this story, let's get back to him outside Children's Hospital. You broke this story, and now the city's launched an investigation, Sean.
They have, after we asked some questions of the city about this. Tanisha Brown remains here at Children's Hospital. She's only 14. We found where she was badly injured, a mini salon, one chair in the very back of a clothing store up on 6 Mile. And the city says tonight they're shutting that place down. 14-year-old Tanisha Brown remains in Children's Hospital. She suffered face fractures and lost sight in one eye after a can of hairspray exploded in her face. The teen saw a young woman on Instagram showing off her hair work, and she booked an appointment. That stylist alerts customers that she is unlicensed.
Just because you put your illegalities in writing does not make it any less illegal, nor does it alleviate you from liability.
Stan says it was her fault that she placed a container of highly flammable, got to be freezing spray near her hot curling iron heater. Something salon owners in this area say a licensed stylist would know not to put anything that flammable near something so hot. Tanisha's mom says the stylist didn't seem too concerned that her daughter was so badly injured.
She was a bit nonchalant, had no concern. She says, "I'm so sorry. I'm only 23. I don't have a license."
Just so you know, you can go online and look up licensed professionals in just about any industry in your state.
We searched up and down West McNichols looking for the salon where Tanisha was injured. We found it. It's not a salon. It's in the back corner of a clothing store customers tell me the stylist's mother owns. And since we broke the story yesterday, a mom who took her daughter to the same stylist before her prom says the stylist allegedly offered her daughter marijuana and alcohol.
Now, we're not going to just glaze right past that. That right there just ruins all credibility. If that's true, that just ruins all credibility.
Tanisha's mom says her daughter is now speaking more in the hospital, and today she told her the stylist was allegedly smoking marijuana when she arrived and allegedly offered it to her.
Okay, so I'm going to unpack this one thing at a time. So let's get into licensing. So I'm just going to look at my state. In Maryland, and this is according to the Department of Licensing and Labor Regulation for the state of Maryland. So a hairstylist must be at least 17 years of age and have completed the 9th grade or GED. Applicant must submit proof of completion of 1,200 hours of training in a cosmetology school or 15 months as a registered apprentice in a licensed beauty salon. Now in Maryland, that is not the same as a cosmetologist, because a cosmetologist, they require us to have had 1,500 hours of pre-licensing education. There is a common misconception of licensing that I think people are not understanding. So I want to unpack this whole thing like one thing at a time. So right here, according to the Department of CLC Illinois EDU, which is the perfect example of what licensing is. Licensure provides permission to practice in a particular field. Careers which require licensing typically require a specialized skill, are deemed dangerous, or affect the general public. Examples of career requiring licensure are physicians, dentists, nurses, pilots, lawyers, accountants, and psychologists. So, although people may look at cosmetology as not that serious, you're just planning people's hair, I want to make it clear that this is about protecting the state. Not saying you protecting the state is protecting itself from litigation by requiring individuals to be licensed in certain areas to prevent like when an injury like this happens, from them being able to come after the state saying you didn't mandate that these people be licensed in XYZ. So let's get into what exactly is taught in hair school. So right here, this is courtesy of Milady Pro. That is the actual book that was out when I went to hair school back in 99. So they are still, like, I believe they might be the only curriculum for the subject of cosmetology within the United States. Now, I could be wrong, but from my understanding, they're at least the leading curriculum. Basically, they help people study for the theory exam. So that's a portion of the licensing exam that we have to take. So this is what it says. The state theory exam, also known as the written exam, is a test used to validate your knowledge of your field in the beauty and wellness industry: cosmetology, barbering, aesthetics, massage therapy, and nail technology. The theory written exam is one of 2 exams you need to become certified in your state and launch a career as a licensed professional. Whether you're in school or about to take your theory exam for the first time, or transferring new state licenses and need to test in your new state, or are getting a second license. Yeah, I'm sorry. This guy will answer all of your beauty school testing and state board examination questions. So as you can see in this excerpt from Delmarva Beauty Academy, they explain what you're learning when you pay for the curriculum, which is hairstyling, haircutting, chemical relaxers, permanent waves, hair coloring, lightening, manicuring, pedicuring, and all related theory subjects. So you're not learning how to necessarily style hair. At least I didn't at that point in time when I went in 99. The purpose of going to beauty school is to obtain a license. That is the purpose. So I had one client say to me, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I had to tell her, yes, it does make sense, because if you think about it, when you go to get your driver's license and go to driver's school or driver's academy, I mean, you don't know how to drive when you come out of driver's school. You just know how to pass the test. They're teaching you how to pass the test. You get your real world experience working in the field. And it's the same with cosmetology. All right, so this last portion I want to unpack is for my hairdressers out there, or anybody who knows somebody who wants to be a hairdresser or barber, etc. And this is courtesy of Watts Guerra. I know I mispronounced that. I apologize. .com. And basically, is an employer responsible for injuries caused by employees that's basically under the influence of something? I mentioned that because that was the last part I wanted to speak of. I didn't realize this young lady was high under the influence of marijuana while offering it to a minor child, which also puts her in a whole nother level of liability, because I don't even know what the name of that law is, and I'm not getting into that. I'm just going to speak about what the employer is responsible for. So it says an intoxicated person who causes injury to another will almost always be liable to the injured party for any damages. So even if I believe this was her mother's clothing store that the young lady was working in, even if the mother had insurance, which I don't believe she did, insurance has a right to deny payouts, because not only was the young lady unlicensed, she was under the influence of something. Like, there are people who have union jobs who, as soon as you get into an accident or something happens at work, they are making them take urine tests on the spot. Ask somebody who's in a union. So the last portion I want to leave with is, what happens if somebody sue you and you don't have no money? So the young lady, I believe, didn't have any insurance, and I think the shop who that she was doing hair out of didn't have any insurance. Even if they did have insurance, they're not going to cover her because of the reasons that I just said. She was high, she had no license. So what happens when you're sued and you don't have any money? Well, right here, according to solosuit.com, when you get sued and have no money, debt collectors can garnish your wages and seize your property to get the funds repaid. And my last source, from Mass Legal Help, even if you have no money, the court can decide the creditor has won the lawsuit and you still owe that lump sum of money to that person or company. So although you may be self-employed, you can still have your bank account seized, your properties seized, anything like that, depending on if that person who now has become a creditor, depending on how far they can go. And if they bring this to court, which is what the mother already said they're going to do, this is what this young lady is facing. So I hope this helps somebody. Please share this with somebody who wants to get into the beauty industry and understand the seriousness of licensing. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that in addition to these episodes on Sundays at 12 noon, I also have articles on my blog that are released every Sunday at 12 noon. So don't forget you can go straight to iamdawnwilliams.com to access the blog and other businesses you might want to see that I have. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And once again, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day on purpose.